Hello, everyone. This is Miss Kathy. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk. Today, I have my guest with me, Mark Metcalfe, and
Hello.
we both have a desire to bring awareness of child abuse.
Yes.
I want to preface right now that if you are watching this as a replay, to please check out the description box below, as there is information for USA and UK for hotlines of child abuse. So please be sure and make sure you get that information in the description. I do want to welcome those who are here right now in the chat. Emmanuel Gassi, hello, thank you for coming. Jess K, it's always good to see you. And Leah, Ability Mom of Two, thank you so much. Big Boy Johnny, 25, hello, it's good to see you as well.
Lots of people straight away coming in.
Yeah, that's always a good thing.
Like usually with my streams, it's like 10 minutes in and then one person. You usually. No, Tis Lisa's usually quite good with me and my
Tis Lisa, yeah, she seems so nice. I just recently met her through your live stream a couple weeks ago.
You know what? Tis Lisa's really supportive of all sort of YouTubers. Like, so if anyone's out there that doesn't know her, should really get connected.
If you want to put her link in the chat, I'd be fine with that. And for those of you who are new here, please make sure you mingle and get to know one another. I won't be reading the chat. And if Leah is here during the time, I really need to go buy Lisa a beautiful gift, because she's been at every single one of my Real Talks. She's been a great moderator for me. But I don't welcome everyone 10 minutes, 15 minutes into my talk, because I want to give my attention to my guests. So Leah's been really good at welcoming my people in the chat. Thank you for that. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Leah. Is it Leah? Just to introduce myself, I'm a filmmaker and musician, you could say. Like all my life, I've like dabbled in both. Jumped from filmmaking to music to filmmaking to music, and I've found that it for me has helped me through a lot of situations. And another reason why I wanted to do this today was to get through different processes and stuff.
Yeah, songwriting, I'm sure, is very therapeutic.
Absolutely. Like like my new EP, should we say, it's got a lot of like topical issues in there, and like what we're doing today with the abuse of children and stuff. That's something that has really affected me on a personal level. So I wanted to be able to come on here and talk about it with you, and maybe play a few songs, if that's all right.
Yeah, I would love to hear your songs. I think it's great. I listened to I think you played 4 songs on a live stream that you did just a few days ago.
Yeah, so the 4 would be the 4 that I'm playing, trying to record soon. So they're the 4 that I'm just constantly playing on streams and putting out there, really. Maybe we'll play them all. Maybe we'll just play 1 or 2 of them.
The lyrics are very, very deep on some of them.
2 of them have a lot to do with our situation, should we say, that we're talking about today.
Yeah. So about the topic today, child abuse. I'm a teacher and I'm in the elementary a lot. So it's very important for me to understand and be aware of signals that I want to bring awareness to.
Yes.
Mark, I know that this is a dear subject to you as well. Can you identify with any signs that people might need to look out for?
It's a tough one, because I know that with these situations, people keep it like quite close to their chest and try to avoid that it ever happened. And so maybe looking at people that are reacting differently, you know, maybe they're like upbeat one day, but then all of a sudden just completely they've changed. Like
something's off in their normal behavior.
Something's off. I mean, like I work at a college as well, and like I don't know personally a lot what happens to the certain kids and stuff, but they do rapidly change their behaviors, and even down to something like they change their style of clothing. You know, they start wearing something more provocative or something. could
Oh,
be
yeah.
a sign that something's happened, or like maybe steering away from the child abuse thing. We have a lot to do with the terrorism and stuff at our college, and if like a student's behaving a different way and dressing a different way, we have to like safeguard it. And I
Yeah.
think that has a lot sort of the same elements to child abuse.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's important that we feel open enough to ask these questions when we do notice this kind of behavior. I know for children, especially for children who aren't talking yet, if you're in a daycare situation, or you start noticing things like bruising that aren't in a typical area where a child would fall.
Yeah, sure.
It's true signs to look for and things like that.
What was the age range that you have?
Well, right now I substitute K through 12, kindergarten through 12th grade through high school, but I'm a preschool teacher and owner that I retired from.
Yeah, so
that would be 2 to 5 years old.
And you did that for your whole life, didn't you? That was
about for 12 years.
12 years, yeah.
Around 2002 to just a couple of years ago.
Off the subject, did you do like a vlog in the classroom at one point? I'm sure you...
Oh, yeah. I have another channel that I've gifted to my daughter that I read children's books.
Yeah, and I remember. I think that was one of the first videos I watched of yours, and I was just like, this is really cool.
I think that's where we connected almost a year ago. Last February, March timeframe was from my other YouTube channel.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be it. Was that through I'm a Creator, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. I've met a lot of nice people through that, but a lot of not so nice as well.
Yeah, that's our world.
Yeah.
Our world is full of nice people and evil people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how should we get? What was the next? I'll let you lead with the questions.
Mark, do you want to sing the song that brought me to wanting to bring this topic up? Let me tell everyone how I came to know you better. So I started doing these real talks, and I want to invite people to want to talk about things that impact their life, that encourage and inspire others. And Mark had commented on one of my real talks and said that he would like to come on my show at some point. And I connected with him only a week ago, and we started talking about topics. Mark wrote a song that I don't know what it's about, but it hit me because of this serious topic that I've been wanting to talk about. April next month is Child Abuse Preventive Month. And when I heard Mark's song that I would love for you to sing, the lyrics were very deep, and I asked Mark if he'd be willing to come on and talk about this topic with me today because of the song that I heard.
So we do the song and then maybe talk about it?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Before you start singing, let me just welcome a few people that have come onto the chat here.
This does feel like a real talk show, Kathy.
Aw, thanks. Kamza and friends.
Brilliant.
You know Kamza? Okay, because she says great songs.
Yes, I know Kamza and friends.
Wonderful. And Trey's Creation is here. Thank you, Trey, for coming. So, Mark, what is the name of this song?
This song is called On the Day You Die, and it's a new song that I've wrote that I've been trying to write for many years. And yeah, it's very close and dear to my heart. It's quite emotional. Yeah, so should we give it a go?
Stage is all yours.
Look at me now, I'm over this. After all the things you have done, it's took the time to get over this. But look at all the things I've become. You're a loser through and through. You beat up old and new. There is nothing you can do. Karma's coming for you. And on the day you die, I won't cry. I won't even say goodbye. You got off easy this time. And on the day you die, hurtful, you are crime. You are hurtful, you are crime. You got off easy this time. Don't think that you got away with this. No, I won't let you forget. You ruined my life with your blackened soul. But I won't let that be the end of me. You're a loser through and through. You beat up old and new. There is nothing you can do. Karma's coming for you. And on the day you die, I won't cry. I won't even say goodbye. Got off easy this time. And on the day you die, with my feelings aside, you are hateful, you are crime. You got off easy this time. If I had come around that day, you wouldn't be breathing today. 'Cause you're a loser through and through. You beat up old and new. There's nothing you can do. Karma's coming for you. And on the day you die, I won't cry. I won't even say goodbye. You got off easy this time. And on the day you die, with my feelings aside, you are hateful, you are crime. You got off easy this time.
There we go. There is the song. The first song we'll play. Might play another one in a bit, maybe.
Yeah, Mark, you have a great voice, and you're very talented.
I've actually got the flu or the cold or something. Not the flu, but
yeah, but
my voice
so
isn't
hard
working
to sing,
as much as usual.
Singing with an acoustic guitar, though, I mean that's really good.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for
lyrics. Heartbreaking to hear. It makes me, when I first heard those lyrics, I felt sad. I felt sad for anyone feeling that hate or that anger.
I wanted to do it from the opinion of sort of looking back on it and having those things happen, but also kind of from a positive perspective, even though it sounds like quite negative and quite hateful. It's almost like saying I've grown up and I've come past it, but I don't care about you, sort of thing. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I cannot speak to having anger towards someone that I wouldn't care if they die. I can't personally relate to that, but I can imagine a child who was abused feeling hatred and anger towards their abuser.
And this is what this is about. This is about someone that's been abused and spent the whole life thinking about it and wanting that person to be dead, you know. And it's horrible.
Yeah, and I think that
horrible to have those feelings, but
I think that that is a normal stage of surviving child abuse. From my own research, I know that there are stages that you gotta go through to get to that healing, and I believe that the anger and the mourning is part of the grieving stage, and I think that's very normal, and I think it's important to recognize them and feel them, but you've got to get past the point where you are angry and you want your abuser dead, and you don't, you know, you want to be able to reach forgiveness for your own healing. Does that make sense?
yeah. And I wonder whether you really ever, the people in this situation, I wonder whether they ever forgive, you know, because it's like, I think you mentioned the other day, you just like your innocence is taken through it, and it's hard to get that back.
I don't think you ever will. I don't think a child would ever get their innocence back. It is something that they've completely been robbed of.
Yeah.
And for us to be able to bring awareness so that this doesn't have to happen, that we can stop child abuse, is so important. And I think it's so important that when you hear of an adult talk about this from years of their past, that they be heard, that we believe them, that we let them acknowledge it and not push them aside, because they can't heal from that until they talk through their anger, until they get through the mourning of it. And the only way that they can get through that is if they get through it and forgive for their own sake. You know, forgiveness is not the same as trusting someone. It doesn't mean you have to forget, but it is so important that they get past the anger, past the shame, past the blame, because that's something that Satan, for a Christian, can use against you to hold you. You know, before you meet your maker, you've got to be able to accept that you need some form of savior to get you, to help you forgive and to get you to that healing state so that you can move on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's just tough, isn't it? It's tough to, like, it can take a lot of time and a lot of, like you said, with the steps. I think you mentioned the steps. There was like 3 steps, was there?
Well, from what I know, that, you know, for adults that have come to the point of remembering, I think the first step is remembering. I'm sure a child through any traumatic situation wants to forget, wants to just get past by just moving on, pretend it never happened, right? So I think the first stage is remembering. There's probably triggering that will happen. There's probably things that will happen that will bring it back. So I think the first stage is remembering that it actually happened. And then I think you have to get through that grieving process. And that's where I think a lot of the anger comes through.
Yeah, because you're remembering these horrible things that have happened, and you just like.
And you know what? It's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay that way. You have to be able to put, because that is going to trap you. That is where it's going to consume you, that anger and that hatred. And the only way is to find someone that you can trust, someone that does believe you, someone that says, yes, this did happen to you. And yes, it's not okay. And you need to get past it. And the only way to get past it is forgiveness. I know that someone I read in the chat said that you never forgive, but you can. It is possible. It is possible to forgive, and it's very necessary to forgive.
And it's as hard as it is to say, but it's being the bigger person in that situation, like not taking the same measures that what happened to you as a kid, what happened to the person as a kid, and then doing the same thing, because a lot of people follow that method to when they're older, they also then become a child abuser.
Yeah, I believe there are statistics that show that
because
prove that.
that's all that they know, and that's you know, I know obviously there's people that haven't gone down that route, but there is cases of it.
Yeah, there's cases too where I know for women that have children later on in life, or dads that become fathers that have been through this, that they don't want that for their own children, so they take drastic measures to make sure it doesn't happen. And I think that if they don't go through the process of healing, the process of remembering, the process of grieving and accepting that anger and then being able to forgive, that they may get to the points where it's not safe for their own children because a trigger might happen, you know? And so I think that that's important for any adult who was abused as a child that later has a child, does go through that process. So
did you say that like a parent would then teach their kids a different way and protect them too much, so that kid then doesn't experience life as well because of what they've been through?
No, I mean, I think that if I was abused and then later became a parent, I probably would shelter my children so much that I would keep them from wanting to experience anything in life. Like I would just be like, no one's touching my child. No,
yeah, because I know people that have gone through that as well. You know.
Yeah, and that's hard. It's hard to live in fear. I believe they live in fear.
Yeah. Don't experience any form of life, like, which is sad.
Yeah.
It is sad, but it's also sad the other the other way of like living in fear as well. So where's the line? Like,
help.
Yeah,
I mean, I believe that
the helpline, which is underneath, if you want to, you know.
Yeah, no joking aside. Yeah, definitely. I think it's very important that there are professionals that can counsel someone through that. I think it's very necessary. I think it's good that family members and friends and support push the victim towards getting help, not pushing it aside saying, this didn't happen. Come on, you know, this is all in your imagination. You know, you're dwelling on this. This is consuming you. No, you have to be able to get help. I think it's very important that counseling be available to the person.
Do you think that counseling is a lot different from, say, when you were a child or when I was a child to what it is now? Because we've now got the
I hope so.
influx of the internet and stuff. Like, we can easily check on, well, for us, it's the NSPCC.
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of different ways to have therapy, or, you know, your songwriting is therapy for you, I believe. But I think that for us, as an issue as child abuse or any kind of assault, I think needs a professional.
You say somebody to talk to on the phone or somebody to literally go to?
Both, either one, I think. Yeah. I'm sure there are online counseling, probably, that you could have Skype sessions with and stuff.
Yeah. I think you'd be a good counselor.
Maybe a mentor, but I don't have the education to counsel anyone. I'm not a professional counselor.
Yeah.
I can tell you where I get most of my counseling from. It's from the Bible.
Yes.
I believe it is our best instruction book on life.
Have you always been a Christian, have you, Kathy?
I have always been a Christian. I've just recently been more of someone who is passionate about following Christ and studying God's word.
Yeah.
But I've grown up knowing who Christ is and that we need Christ as our Savior. I've always had that in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. What about you?
I don't like not believe in God or anything like that. I just haven't found it for myself yet, should we say. You know, I've got people in my life that obviously believe it, and I believe that it's possible, but I haven't found that direction yet to go down it personally for myself.
Yeah. Do you ever have the desire to?
I have had before, yes. But as you know, the the whole music and filmmaking has been my sort of passion and my way of dealing with things. I do believe in God, and I do believe, but it's the religion thing that puts me off. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, it definitely does for me.
You know,
yeah, religion is man-made, and Christ is a relationship. I believe that the only way to heaven for salvation for all of us to face our judgment is through Jesus Christ.
So there's difference in believing in God and Jesus and stuff like that, than everything in religion being real for me, anyway. But anyway, we're straying from the topic in hand. I mean, like, if you find your way in religion that can help, I think it's very positive. I think
I believe that that is the way to get to healing, though. Not really straying away, because there was someone in the chat that said you couldn't forgive. I believe that the only way you can forgive is through Christ.
Right. Okay. That's fair. That's fair enough. But there'll be kids. There'll be kids going through these problems that will never have that, belief inside them.
Yeah. Let's talk about again, signs that we can bring awareness to. For one, we said, well, let's talk about the different abuse. I believe there's neglect.
Sure. Yeah.
I believe so we have neglect. When a child is just neglected, they're not being fed, they're not being properly dressed when it's cold outside. There's physical abuse, and then
there's
I believe that's the worst would be sexual abuse.
Yeah, so the sexual abuse, and then there's also mental abuse, which I think is just as bad as all three of them.
Yeah, and mental verbal abuse.
Mental verbal abuse, yes. Because
and understanding all of those, I think, and making sure that we see the behavior change in a child is the first step, and being able to speak out for that child, especially when a child can't speak for themselves.
Yeah, because like you say, when you have physical abuse, you can see marks on people, but you can't see emotional abuse
or sexual abuse
unless their behavior is different. Like you say, it's a very tricky thing to put your finger on, unless like a kid can identify it themselves, and I don't know if that's a thing that their mind is strong enough to do.
And for those kids that are in school, or if there's high school kids watching this, or even like you said, college age, finding that friend that is acting differently, or if you're seeing signs from the outer appearance of them, being able to talk to them, or if they're saying they can't talk about it, letting someone else know that can support you as a supporter. Go to a school counselor, go to a teacher, talk about it at home. Mom, I have this friend, or Dad, I have this friend. They're acting differently. It's so important to tell someone.
It's the biggest thing that you could do is tell someone, like family, friends, and anybody that will listen. Really, I think is very important.
Yeah. Patty Brustard, thank you for coming to the chat. I will read what she just stated. Okay. Child abuse is a child that cannot find their voice. They lose the ability to even talk about it, and that can continue for life until healing.
Absolutely. That is the best way to, well, not the best way, but definitely a great way to describe child abuse. Well done.
Yeah. There's adults today that may be watching this Sunday that have gone through this, and they are remembering, or they're being triggered, and they're angry, but they have to get through the healing, and the only way is by talking with someone.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And you know what? What I want to say to everyone else out there that's not a victim, but when a victim comes to you, hear them, believe them. That's what they need most. They need to be believed. They need to be heard.
Yeah, don't shove them away, because they might never actually ever speak about it again, and then they could do anything to themselves, or like live with this burden on their head forever, and that's terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So now that we have talked about that, would you like to sing a more uplifting song?
an uplifting song. Okay, as
Don't sweep it under the rug. Jess K says yes.
Yeah, don't sweep it under the rug.
You have a song that I remember hearing that was a gratitude song. Thank you or something. What's the name? Is it called Thank You?
Is it this? Yeah, it's called Thank You. And it is about having those people in your life that you depend on and that have always been there for you. Maybe that are gone now, and you want to say things to them like thank you and stuff for being there, you know. And this is one of the songs that really gets a good response, and it will be on the EP, so it'll be the most positive uplifting song hopefully on the CD.
Well, please sing. Go.
Right now?
I'm gonna let my dog out while you start singing.
Okay, cool.
My dog's tiny and I don't want it to be in the song.
I remember all the things that you said. You said, no matter what you do, just make sure it's you. Oh, 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 be true to yourself. Hold your head high. Oh, 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 just be strong. You'll be fine. And I say thank you for being you. And I say thank you for all things that you do. You're my motivation, my inspiration. And I say thank you for being you. I'll make you proud. I'll sing these songs out loud for all the people that wish to stay, hey, but can't seem to find the words that day. And I say thank you for being you. And I say thank you for all things that you do. You're my motivation, my inspiration. And I say thank you for being you. Gone but never forgotten. Oh, you're here and it's crystal clear that I would like to thank you for being you. I'd like to thank you for all things that you do. You're my motivation, my inspiration. I'd like to thank you for being you. Ooh. Thank you.
I got a round of applause.
I'll clap for the chat too.
Yeah. So,
Mark, you had a question when you were singing that.
oh, really?
Patty is a musician as well. She plays the RA. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Have you heard of that instrument?
Say it again. Sorry.
The RA?
The
I think
RA.
that's how you say it. It's
sounds fancy.
sort of like a harp,
wow,
and guitar all in one.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I've not heard of the harp.
Check out Patty's channel. She's very, very creative.
Yeah, I'll go through all the comments tomorrow.
Her question is, who is the thank you song towards? Who are you thanking?
I'm thanking my grandparents and my older sister. They're not around anymore. My grandparents. My sister's still here. My older sister. But it's, you know, it's hard to explain. It's all sort of like meshed up into one song. Because in the bridge it says like "gone but never forgotten." That's about my grandparents. But when I say "you're here" and it's crystal clear that I want to thank you, that's my older sister.
Wow.
And if it wasn't for those three people, you know, I might not have got through things that happened to me. So if they're watching from above, and if my older sister may be watching this, that's, you know, thank you.
Wow. Yeah. So those are your sister, it sounds like, you know, could be a really good support system for you.
She has been the rock, you know, for me my whole life. Like, so I won't go into lots of details about like what happened and stuff, but if especially I would say that she was my protector. You know?
Well, you know, the song that you played earlier, the
yes.
title is "The Day You Die." It's becoming more clear to me that this was possibly for your abuser, and that you're still in the process of getting to the healing stage. So
yeah, and I'd say the music is helping with that. So I mean, like, I come out clean and say that yes, the songs are about me, and about someone that's abused me in the past. From when I was 10 to 15 was heavily physical abuse and heavy emotional abuse. It's somebody that
I'm so
wasn't
sorry
related.
for that.
Yeah, it's someone that wasn't related to me, but still in my life a lot. So this hopefully in the long term, I'll get more comfortable speaking about it, and this process of speaking to you today and playing the songs and stuff is part of that process, like you say. And I thank you for letting me come on and start that process. So thank you.
It's very courageous
the
of
song
you.
is also about Kathy. Yeah, thank you. There should be more people that are out there doing what you're doing, trying to spread awareness. And like the videos I watched in the past, you've just got such a kind heart, and that's why I said that you are the right person to do this with, like, initially, because you're very like heartwarming, you're nice to talk to, and I've always thought that. So
Well, I'm honored, and I'm so happy that I can be here for you, that I can be an outlet towards you. And I want to continue encouraging you and continue encouraging anyone else that may be watching this that is needing to talk and bring awareness and finding someone who can listen. I think it's really
and when there's no judgment, like with you, there's
judgment.
There's zero judgment. Like you're more about what can I do to help you, Mark, is what you said, you know, and that's amazing. Like, we need more Cathys in the world. Be a better place.
Mark,
so
it's very courageous of you to be able to do this, and I, you know, I'm going to keep praying that you and others will continue to have that courage to speak out about it, so that you can get to the point of healing. You've got a lot of people that, you know, not only to fix you, but there's so many others that you can fix.
You know, and like you say, like we were saying earlier about it could take a whole lifetime, you know. I mean, I'm 34 now, and that happened to me when I was 10, you know. The first initial abuse happened when I was 10.
Can
So
I
that's
ask you what
24 years.
triggered you to want to write this song? What happened that now you're feeling like you can finally use your music to?
I think it's somewhat to do with getting my life sorted out, because there was a long period of the time when I was, and I'll admit that I was an absolute mess. But I've been able to, you know, turn things around. I mean, I went back to education at 27. You know, I wasn't educated. Went back and got my media production degree, and everything started to change, and I was a lot more like driven to turn my life around, because I didn't want that to have made me who this bitter and sort of negative person. I didn't want that to have been wrote on my gravestone, you know, like this person lies here and he didn't do anything, you know. He just let it consume him, and I didn't want that to ever be the case, but I just let things, you know, how to explain this? I buried things.
It became chaotic.
Yeah, and I buried things so deep as well. Like I buried it at the back of my head. It wasn't there, and then just derailed myself from life. Like, and
I'm sure that's very normal. It was your coping mechanism. Patty had said becoming a mess after abuse is so understandable. I want you to know you're not alone in the chat as well. The House of Prayer is letting you know that she was also abused as a child. So
oh really? I'm sorry to hear that. You can always talk to us about it, and we'll help each other get through.
Yeah. Simply Shannon says to House of Prayer, I myself was abused throughout my childhood, and it is real. Things like this bring them all alive again.
It is very, very real. And like as you know, I've been like debating whether or not to even do this, you know, in general. Like we've gone back and forth, even like to the last minute. It was like very touch and go, wasn't it? And I think,
yeah, I mean, I know, I'm sure that other people can relate that when you bring it, when you're ready to finally talk about it, and you find someone who's not supporting you, can you relate to that?
I think it's.
How do you get past the point where, okay, great, now I brought it up, and now I'm in an unsupportive environment? How do you get to a supportive environment? You keep telling someone until you are believed or you are trusted.
Yeah, well, it's very important to me, and there's lots of reasons why you wouldn't do it. Like the reasons just popping into my head, like, you know, what are work going to think if they see this video? You know, are they going to have like a positive or negative reaction to what I'm talking about? You know, what are other people in my family going to think? Because out of their privacy, I've not spoke about certain things that have happened today because they've asked me not to, you know, and that's fair enough. I don't want to ever, you know, because they're going through a healing as well, or going through a process as well.
Yeah.
So
you might be their step to getting through that healing, though.
I hope so. I hope that I can be steps for lots of people. that's my aim. Anyway, that's the overall goal is, if this guy that appears, I'd say appear quite nice and like friendly online and stuff, and
I'll vouch for that.
Yeah. And he has a laugh and makes some cool videos, but didn't know he was going through this. Maybe if he can go and make those videos after all this, maybe I can too, you know. And that's a big aim for me, I think.
Yeah. Me too. I think that can happen.
So why did you decide to do the Real Talks in the end? What spurred it on?
I have to give credit to my friend Alien 6467.
Yeah.
My friend TJ. I always wanted to be an encourager. I do believe that that's a gift that God gave me, and I'm an introvert. I'm retired.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm an introvert and I'm retired. So I found myself reclusing. So when I started connecting with people this past year online more and realizing that I am an encourager and God was telling me, you have a way of reaching people. My friend TJ said, you run the gamut of life. Everybody needs you. You take care of your father-in-law, who is a veteran, who has dementia. You have a son in the military. I have 4 children at all different ages and all different crises. I've had a really rough marriage at times, in the 26 years of my marriage. So I can speak to, I've been abused as well. Not my husband, but
no.
But family members, in-laws that have abused me for years. And there's just things that I know on my heart that I can talk to and I can relate to.
Yeah.
So
is that in the same physical way or like emotionally verbal
abuse? Yeah.
I mean, it was one of it's like obviously the physical stuff for me was terrible, but it was always the emotional side that got to me just as much, because it was the threatening and it was the,
you can't unhear things.
It was the, he said to me once, when you're 18, I'm going to kill you, So I always had that at the back of my head, like, oh,
fear is horrible. Fear is horrible to live with.
What's going to happen? Like if you did this to me, if he was capable of doing this to me, then maybe he is capable of doing that. So living with that, or it's just something that people shouldn't, especially at that age, shouldn't have ever had to think. It should be playing computer games, playing with action figures and stuff, not worrying about if this guy is gonna.
You were robbed of your innocence.
Yeah, exactly.
It's happening right now in our world. I don't know what the statistics are, but there are children right now
that are experiencing it, and
yeah,
I wish we could be there for everyone, but unfortunately, it's out of, we can't tell who's going through it,
Yeah, Patty said something in the chat about feeling that nudge. It could be anything. I mean, for me, it is God. It's the Holy Spirit, telling you to do something. When you feel that rumble, Patty, I'll read it exactly how Patty wrote it. Well, first, Simply Shannon says, the healing process never stops with things like this, but it does make us better people because we've been through what we have. It's her belief.
Oh, Shannon's lovely, actually. Does Shannon come to your channel as well?
I do recognize Simply Shannon. I think that I've been in other chats.
She's always really positive about things. Really nice.
Patty says, we were talking about God earlier this morning in Bible study. We talked about how that rumble in your heart is God nudging you to do this. Step out of your comfort zone and share. You never know. And
I always felt that that's like the nervousness, that feeling in the stomach. It makes me feel like I don't want to do it, but I have to push through those feelings, I think.
Yeah, don't let fear overtake you.
Yeah.
Exactly what Patty's talking about. God nudged her to do this. Yeah. I mean, I felt the nudge to do this. And I recently took on a new word. I wear it around my neck. It's called bold. And it's part of me wanting to be more bold. I've heard a lot of nudging through the years, and I've been fearful of not doing it. And this real talk, this nudge, this is me being bold, me being vulnerable, me say, you have a gift, you need to use it. I could touch someone and it's important. So I don't know who's going to be listening. And for me, it's to give God the glory. And it doesn't matter if it's just one, and even if it's just me that's getting impacted from it, it's important and it needs to be said. And today I hope it's you.
Well, it's definitely like, I didn't think that it would feel this good now, you know, after speaking and just mentioning it, you know, online is actually quite rewarding, I think. And it's something that, you know, I've you know, not really had a lot of during my whole life, like not been able to say a lot that happened. And it's very positive coming to terms with things, and hopefully I can help other people, you know, come to terms with what's going on with them. Obviously we've got a lot of positive things going on in the chat, like a lot of people hopefully can go away and do their thing now from this.
Yeah, it says my chat was disconnected.
It's gone a bit blurry, like, is that?
Yeah, it says the chat was disconnected. Please wait while we reconnect you. It says it was successfully connected and now it's disconnected again. So I apologize. I'm not sure what happened with.
And we seem to be back into a sort of normal resolution. It was going off resolution as well.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if the actual live stream disconnected or not, but it says I'm still live, so I just don't think the chat is able to chat right now. Simply Shannon just said to Patty, interesting, I've never spoke of it. I don't want to be judged or to relive it, so I don't talk about it.
That was exactly how I was feeling. Like, I didn't want people to think of me in a different way and have it be this big thing in my life that everybody thinks of when they think of me. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's Mark, he was abused, you know. Not, that's Mark, he makes some cool music, or that's Mark, he makes films, you know, that's Mark, is on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was.
We may have triggered someone today, you know, and if we have, and like I said, those steps earlier, just the remembering and then going through the morning and knowing that there's hope and that you can heal by learning to forgive.
Exactly. And it took me a long time to start remembering things because I'd pushed them back so far.
Yeah.
It's almost like I separated it from myself, like that was a different person to the person that I was, you know. And now that other person that I sort of made is now becoming, it's going around the full circle. Like, I wasn't that person because I created this person, I created this mask almost, and now I've got to get rid of that mask and be the person I was before everything happened, and go around. And life is circular, and I truly believe that what goes around comes around. And when we talk about karma in the song, I do believe that karma's coming for that abuser.
Well, you want my opinion on that?
Of course.
I mean, karma. I mean, karma is judgment. Yes, we will all face our judgment. But for anyone out there who is an abuser or did abuse, there is grace for them as well. That's the hardest part, and forgiveness belongs to everyone who seeks Jesus Christ. He may not, but he could. And that's going to be hard, and you're going to need to go through that process.
Yeah, luckily I don't
speak that more, then that can be a whole nother talk, and we can do that privately offline.
Luckily I don't have any connection with this person anymore. So they're a long gone out of my life sort of person, but the remains,
they are long gone, but they're not out of here, you know.
No, that's what I was gonna say. The remains are still in my head, and the scars are still there, you know.
Yeah.
More like emotional now rather than physical, you know.
Yeah.
Physical thing ended a long time ago, but you know, the
You're
memories,
safe.
like you say, are there.
You're safe, but you have to also be safe in healing.
Exactly. We've talked for 55 minutes. That's good.
Oh wow.
You know, so
we can
talk for another
up so that it can be a replay for someone who may, you know, be able to watch it later.
Yeah.
So, do you want to sing any more songs, or do you want to wrap it up?
I think I got one.
What are the names of the songs that you're hoping to put out?
So I've got 4 songs, and the EP is going to be called "Living Through Life Out of No." Sorry, I've forgotten the name of my EP. How have I done that? I've got it wrote down. There we go. Looking at Life Through Static is the name of the EP, because there's always been this, like, you know, thing that's in front of me, like I said, like the mask earlier. There's always been like this ringing in my ear, you know, and this thing in front of me that you can't see, that's stopping me from going further. There's boundaries and things like that. So that's what the EP is about. And I thought that was a cool title. Then we've got there was a few songs that I've dropped, and I tried to keep it shorter and rather than a longer. So On the Day You Die, about the abuser. So that's the second track. We just do like a little piano do a little piano intro with like lots of voices going on, like people saying different things about me, you know, that I kept hearing. You know, you're not good enough. You know, you maybe, you know, that was meant to happen to you. You know, all these sort of negative things from like different voices happening.
Wow, and you're still in the production part of that.
Yeah, we actually start recording on Sunday.
Oh wow, good luck.
This week. So I've wrote the songs.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, I've got a lot of ideas of how I want it to start, but I want it to end on a more positive note. So the second track obviously is the abuse song. The third track is Identify Your Identity, which is me saying like you say, the whole like thing was taken from me, and I never really grew up to be who I was maybe meant to be before it all happened.
Identify Your Identity. Yeah,
is the second track, which I'll play in a second. The third track is Thank You, and the fourth track is called All I Ever Wanted.
I don't remember hearing that one on your live stream.
Shall I play that one, because it sort of wraps everything up in a little bit of a bow.
Yeah,
it sort of says
a great way to wrap it up.
All I Ever Wanted. Yeah, All I Ever Wanted. It sort of says like
sounds hopeful.
These things happen to me. But I think you might like it because
I'm looking forward to it.
There's a plan for everybody, and maybe this was part of my story to take me somewhere else. You know, I mean, it's a horrible, horrible thing what happened, but positive things can happen from it. And
that's great. I'm going to look and see if our chat's working real quick. Chat is working. Good.
Shall I start?
I'm ready. Yep, I'm ready for you.
Okay.
All I ever wanted was to live a different life, one without the broken hearts and one without the fights. But that wouldn't be me, and now I can see that this path has been written to set me free. All I ever needed was to take away what you had done. And all I ever needed was to rewrite what you had done. But that wouldn't be me. And now I can see that this path has been written to set me free, to set me free, to set me free, to set me free. And life can bring you down, and life can mess you around, but don't let it bring yourself down. It's our choice to bring ourselves back around, around. Bring yourselves back. Bring yourselves back around.
Wow. Yes. That was wonderful.
So
I don't remember hearing that one.
I think I sort of played it in a weird point in that stream. So
yeah, I don't remember that. I love that you're getting this recorded this week, you said?
Yes, on Sunday we start. I don't know how long it's going to take because
live streaming that or recording that or documenting that in some way.
I think I'll vlog parts of it. Because it's my friend Robbie. He's a really good producer, basically. So we're meeting up on Sunday and we're going to start. But it tends to be with me and him. We like want things to be perfect, both of us. So we're like, yeah, this needs to be this, and then we'll get carried away, and then it'll take forever to do like 1 minute of a song, you know.
I think a lot of musicians can relate to that.
But I think we're gonna. I think I've got the songs, and they're wrote now. So let's do this. You know.
Yeah.
What do you? So hearing what we've talked about and hearing that last song, do you think it's sort of like what I've talked about is sort of healing, and it's you know, how do I explain it?
I don't know.
Going from that first track I played in today to that track just then, when I'm talking about you know, this has happened, but now, you know, that's my journey, really.
Yeah, it's incredible, but I don't think you're done. You're asking me, are you through?
Oh yeah, no, I wasn't asking that, but I'm not. No, you're right.
I want to encourage you to keep seeking, to keep going through this, keep writing. You've got a story to tell, Mark.
Yeah,
you've got a
early stages
story.
Yeah.
I think you're very courageous. I think that you are amazing, and I'm happy and honored to be here for you.
Thank you for having me. Like it's been great. It's been very rewarding, like I said, and I'm really glad that we pushed through.
Yeah, I am too. I really am.
And
I know it was hard. I mean, yeah. I know it was hard.
And just the final thoughts for it, I would just say, just really, anyone that's just going through it, really, like you said earlier, go talk to somebody. You know, I left that way too long, you know, and I could have done it a lot sooner. There was people that, like I said earlier, was there for me, but it's not always about that, you know, that circle. It's about maybe talking to someone you don't know, you know, or talking to a friend, or talking to someone that's had something similar happen to them. You know?
Yeah, knowing you're not alone and finding a safe place.
Yeah, and your chat is a safe place. Very, very safe. And if anyone in the chat knows of anyone that this is happening to, please go to those websites and please call those numbers. You know, because you might be worried about somebody and it might be too late, and that's heartbreaking if it's too late.
Yeah, it would be. I agree.
So what are you doing for the rest of the day, Kathy?
My daughter just walked in off the school bus, actually. So
Did she?
I do have a youth group coming tonight to my home. I do Bible study on Wednesday nights. So.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, spreading the love.
Well, for those who seek, so you know,
Yeah.
the door is always open for you if you want to take this on further, or you know I'm here and you know how to reach me.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Yeah, and thank you for giving me this outlet as well, because I wasn't sure. There was a long time I was just like, how do I ever talk about this, and you know, how do I address this online, you know, if I want to. And you've given me that. It all seems to have fell into place at the right time for me. So thank you a lot.
Yeah, I know. Just yesterday when we were trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah.
Well, and I realized that April is Child Abuse Preventative Month. I was like,
I know, how weird, right?
So, you know, I'm going to be praying for you, and I look forward to this record album. What do you call it when you put the 4 songs? What is that called? I'm not a musician.
It's called an EP or an extended play, I think it's called.
How cool is it that you're going to be able to get this for April? I mean,
let's hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And thank everybody that's come into the chat today, because we really appreciate it.
It's the right time, Mark. It's the right time.
It is the right time. Have we got anyone still there, Kathy, in our chat?
I believe we do. We have Creators Alliance has been here, and he's been communicating with Sharon, and Patty is still here, and we have Rob Hoffman. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
Yeah. I need to thank Creative Alliance, because they sent me a message directly and said, like, we'll be here, and like, it's really encouraging what you're doing, and you know, Kathy's completely the right person to do this, and I agree. You know, that's such kind words.
That's all God. That's not me.
Okay, I will let you go, and let's keep this online and keep promoting it.
Still here as well, and Leah.
Kamsa and friends, perfect.
Yeah,
love those guys.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark. And if you want to just
I'll stick around, and then we can talk.
Probably end the broadcast. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Bye.